Since you were and still are the artist, people remember you as a Casper from Unpretty Rap Star. How did you involve with the beauty industry? How was your transition moment?
So I wouldn't necessarily consider it a transition, more so like a parallel implementation sort of thing, because I actually started working on beauty content before I became a musician. Back in high school, I was really interested in trying out beauty products, and I saw a lot of the first generation beauty YouTubers like Michelle Phan, Bubs Beauty, Miss Glamorazzi, and they inspired me to make my own content, which is how I got involved in the beauty industry, I would say. Wish Company reached out to me after they saw my videos, and that's when I started working with beauty companies.
So you started your YouTube channel when you're in high school?
Yeah.
So you start the career as an artist also started from your teenager?
Yes and no. I would say I became a trainee when I was 19. So I was still a teen, but I would say my actual music career started when I was like 20, 21.
Makes sense. Since you've been running your YouTube channel still to this day, how did you involve with the APR? Because now APR is now over $2 billion valuation, but you told me that at the time you were working with them, there was only few people were there.
Yeah.
So I want to know, how did you involve with them?
So back when APR first started, they were actually a application company, and then they were transitioning into becoming a beauty company. They launched a brand called April Skin, which is where the APR comes from, and they were looking for models to advertise the products on Facebook. At that time, I think I was partaking in Show Me the Money season 4, and one of the co-founders reached out to me and was like, do you want to make ad content with us? And I was like, yeah. And I told him that instead of making it just like a one-time thing, I wanted to sign a long-term contract. So we started off with a 1-year contract, and as years went on, I saw the company grow. We re-signed the contract for over 7 years. I'm still actually working with them to this day. Nowadays, I just overlook their English and their copies.
So over 7 years.
Yeah.
Do you have any stock there?
No, I don't. And actually, this is really interesting that you mentioned this. The biggest motivation for me to start my own business was what Ryan from Wish Company told me. He said to me, if you could go back 7 years, 8 years in time, and you invested in APR or Wish Company, how do you think that would have changed your life?
Right.
And as a musician, you never really think of things like that. You're just very focused on what you do, what you make, what you work on, what you shoot. And in the end, you realize that at some point you're going to get worn out and you're not going to be able to do everything yourself. So Ryan really helped me realize that, in order for me to make my life sustainable, I need to find other forms of investments. I think for him, he meant that you should invest stocks or crypto. You should invest in something, but I took it as I should start my own business.
At the time, April Skin was focusing on the Korean market, and then the Wish company is focusing on the global market. How were you see the difference between these two companies?
I think APR and Wish Company are very different in their DNA because APR focuses on rapid, super like J-curve-esque growth. They really push a lot of their marketing beyond what normal companies are able to do. And Wish is more focused on let's work on stuff that we're good at. The way they operate felt very two ends of the spectrum for me, and it inspired me to kind of, when I start my business, do something in between. So I really like the sustainability and stability of Wish Company, but I also really liked how risk-taking and how quickly APR was accelerating. Market-wise, it isn't that important because in the end, both companies started targeting the Korean market and the global market as well.
And then you also involved with Parambel.
Parambel, yes.
Yeah. Did I pronounce it right? I found a news article that they were acquired by JKL Partners over $200 million.
Yeah.
I don't think many beauty products got attraction from the Southeast Asia. And then, so how did you end up, how did you start working with them, and how did you help them?
What I did for Parambel, Some By Me, was very similar to what I did for Wish Company, which was I helped them make content that explained their products so that their global distributors could take a look and use it kind of like a catalog. Some By Me was interesting. All of these K-beauty brands were very focused on making vegan, clean, very mild and non-irritative products. Some By Me just dived in the market saying, nope, we're going to target Southeast Asia, where the climate is humid, where everyone wants like a fresh finish after applying skincare, where people want potent brightening effects. So they went all out using words like whitening or clarifying, clearing. And I feel like taking a different approach in product formulation and marketing was what made them successful in comparison to all these like K-beauty brands that were becoming vegan and clean beauty.
So APR, Wish Company, and then Some By Me, that all happened at the same time, or there's a time difference there?
So Wish Company and then APR joined, and then
Yeah.
Some By Me started, Some By Me ended, and then Wish Company ended, and APR is still going for me.
Wow, interesting. You definitely took the opportunity from the industry, and then the industry took off to the global market exponentially by the time. So what are your thoughts about the K-beauty for the past and the present?
In terms of the past, I think K-beauty was kind of considered like a niche. It wasn't very public, and only certain fans of K-beauty kind of enjoyed it as like a subculture sort of thing. But nowadays, I feel like K-beauty is very mainstream. The reason why I feel this way is when I go abroad and travel to countries like Japan, England, countries in Europe, Southeast Asia, America, I see a lot of Korean brands on main retailers' shelves. You go to like Loft and Donkyote, you literally are bombarded with K-beauty products. I think there's more K-beauty than J-beauty in certain retailers. Just seeing that, I can see this transition from K-beauty becoming a very unique sort of thing to a very staple, everyday product that people use.
Do you think K-beauty was part of subculture from K-pop?
Not necessarily. I mean, K-beauty, K-pop, K-fashion, K-food, they all grow together hand in hand as Korea's social influence grows. But I don't think K-beauty and K-pop were necessarily in sync. People might have been influenced through K-dramas and seeing K-pop music videos thinking, oh, Koreans have such nice skin. Like, what do they use? That might have been one thing.
K-beauty is something booming in the global industry, global market.
Yeah.
But we don't know why it's so popular.
Why?
If you can tell the public, including myself, that these are three things that why K-beauty is so popular in the global market at this moment.
There are multiple reasons, but the main ones that pop into my head immediately is effective and affordable would be number one. Compared to brands from France, England, America, Korean beauty products tend to retail for 20 to 30% less, but they work just as well. The advancement of Korean ODM, OEM manufacturers, and people realize that even on the labels of American and French beauty brands, it's like made in Korea. People are realizing, made in Korea products are effective enough. And number two is, I think, packaging. If you look at brands that are on the shelves of pharmacies or like Walmart, Target in the States, you see brands like CeraVe, Caudalie, La Roche-Posay, Avène, and all these brands, they kind of have the similar, very simple kind of medicinal packaging. And I feel like the variety of aesthetics in K-beauty kind of grasp the attention of the global audience. Third would be formulation. When you think of interesting textures like the COSRX or Big Soon, like stretchy kind of serums, color changing sheet masks, toner pads, like all these new form factors, very new and something refreshing.
Do you think the Korea OEM companies are more advanced R&D technology backed? So I don't know how much the cosmetic OEM manufacturers can distinguish from themselves to the manufacturers in the European companies?
I would say the OEM manufacturers in Korea are advanced in certain categories. Base makeup products like foundations, I feel like still Italian manufacturers have the slight edge over Korean manufacturers. But this is also changing with like cushion foundations becoming super popular. Certain pigments, China is very advanced. Certain cleansing agents, Japan is very advanced. If you look generally as like an average, I feel like Korean OEM companies are number one. And the reason why this is possible is because the way Korean companies approach things. If you look at other countries in terms of like R&D and development of formulations, they're kind of very conservative. Korea is very good at experimenting with new form factors. And that's why I feel like we're able to launch stick type skin essence balms or peel off masks that you could wear overnight and stuff like that. The challenging nature of Korean companies was able to put Korean OEM manufacturers as number one. brand.
Let's talk about the Korean beauty's future. What are your thoughts on the K-beauty's future in general?
I think K-beauty's future relies on how effectively Korean beauty brands perfect their branding. So what I mean by that is the price battle is going to end. You can't continuously lower the cost because, cost of manufacturing continues to go up and there's so much you can do in terms of lowering costs. And it comes to a point where you go below a certain point, it starts debilitating the efficacy of the product. So you don't want that. And you have brands from China and Thailand that are excelling really fast. In order for Korea to become a really mainstream staple within all the countries that they're excelling in, they need to work on their branding. Most of the Korean beauty brands that you see nowadays don't have a creative director. They're just founded by an entrepreneur, someone that majored in business, someone that majored in finance. And in that sense, what you could do is you can grow really fast because you know that you need to work on distribution, you need to work on marketing. But for the brand to live past 10 years, you need to have more than that. Customers are becoming smarter. They know what they're purchasing and they want to know that what they're purchasing is worth their money. The stuff they put on their packaging, their labels, the copies, they need to mean something. Like you can't just launch a hyaluronic acid serum because someone else is doing it and it's doing well, because then you're gonna have 10 replicas of the same product and in the end, it's all just gonna topple down.
Your view on the K-beauty's future is aligned with the brand that you are running with.
Yes.
Like a Glow and then the Hemeko and the AOU as well. So I want to know how three brands are distinguish themselves each other, and then how you think you're gonna push these three to each directions.
So Hemeko's not a brand. Well, it is a brand if you consider Sephora a brand, but Hemeko's more like a platform. And we're striving to becoming not an alternative, but like another choice of place where you can purchase beauty products in Korea. Because I feel like Olive Young is such a good platform. They have such good monopoly over the whole market, but they're literally the only option. And to me, that's kind of weird because if you look at other countries, in England, you have Boots, you have Space NK, you have Sephora. In the States, you have Sephora Ulta, and you also go to Target and Walmart to purchase makeup products. And then you have the department store brands. And then in Japan, you have Loft, Plaza, Donkyoten, all these other different retail channels. But in Korea, when people think, oh, when I'm visiting Korea, I'm gonna buy makeup at Olive Young, like that's literally it. You know, if you're gonna launch a beauty platform within the Korean market, it's going to have to carry different products or a different concept from Olive Young. And that's what Hemeko is striving to do. And in the works of doing that, we're working on our online app, we're working on our offline channel, and we're working on global expansion. We have AOU, which is a brand directed by a very famous makeup artist called Eunbi-sem. And she's in charge of makeup for groups like aespa, NewJeans, Suji, Kim Ji-won, all the very popular fourth generation idol members you think of nowadays. She knows exactly what the major public wants, and she has this very kitsch, cute taste that works really well with K-beauty. In the future, I see AOU becoming a brand like Roman, where you could just go in anyone's makeup pouch, makeup bag, and see like an AOU product in there. And then you have Glow, a brand that I creatively direct. What we want to do with Glow is kind of hit on what I just mentioned in the previous question, focusing on perfecting branding. Because we're manufacturing in Korea, our formulations are top tier. We really don't try to lower our manufacturing costs, so our price range is a little higher than regular K-beauty brands. We want to give our audience and customers a reason to purchase our product for that price. The mission we have for Glow, it's not going to show in just 1 year. It's going to take longer. I think it might even take 10 years for the audience to truly understand what we're trying to do. We really want to make a brand like Aesop in Korea. Not like the brand aesthetic, but the way people perceive the brand as kind of like a semi-luxury sort of thing.
And all three brands are focusing on Korea market, or do you think they are also getting tractions from Korea and also from the global audience as well?
Hemeko is mostly Korea, but interestingly, our offline stores, 80% of our customers are foreign tourists.
Wow.
And then
Yeah.
if you look at AOU and Glow, we started off marketing within Korea, but our current revenue, 50% is Korean, 50% is global for both brands.
When you think about the marketing to attract the foreigners, do you think those three brands are acting differently for the marketing side?
I'm going to focus on talking about AOU and Glow. AOU is more of like a K-pop hype. Guys, Blackpink's Jennie used this product. Well, aespa's Karina used this product. This is how AOU became viral. And Glow is more of strategic social media marketing. So the way we upload our TikTok and Instagram content, I think that played a big role in acquiring organic content from UGC creators.
Interesting. So people, the foreigners' perspective, they got to know your brands through the social media, such as TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah.
Wow. Since you are working with the famous YouTuber QSim at the Hemeko, and how you guys work together and how you guys create the synergy from the work?
So Q and I have been friends for about close to 8 years now. We've always talked about business and what we want to do in the future, and our visions kind of aligned in the sense that we wanted to do something that could expand into the global market that we both have interest in, which was the beauty industry. By the way, a lot of people think he's kind of 바지 사장, but he's not. He's very at the company, working on running the company and the team. But it's very interesting because whenever we go work with factories or different distribution partners, they're very interested to see what he has to say, what he wants to do. So they're very cooperative. And I feel like we, as a small growing startup company, benefited a lot from this aspect.
And then how are you going to brand it for this Hemeko? Because it's a platform itself. So if you're thinking about the Glow and the AOU, it's when you do branding is okay because you have your own product, so it's easy to, not easy, but it's a static way that you can do it with your own product. But then Hemeko is a platform, the marketplace. So how you drive the branding for this marketplace?
The way we brand the platform, first of all, there's the visual aspect. Instagram and YouTube accounts, the way we run the platform, slogans and stuff, I feel like has a very new approach to it. Our offline store in Hongdae is pretty different from what normal like beauty stores look like. Our ultimate goal is for Hemeko to be seen as this trendy indie brand collecting beauty convenience store that's, I don't know, Gen Z friendly.
If foreigners come to Korea and then they decided to go, probably they visit everywhere. They go to Olive Young and then they also visit the Hemeko as well. If you can think about their point of view, why they are going to Hemeko over, also not over, but then they're also with the Olive Young. So want to know like what are they feeling when they enter the Hemeko, and what are they looking for the certain products in the Hemeko?
One major thing that Hemeko focuses on is we don't stock products that Olive Young carries.
Oh, it's a totally different stocks?
Yeah, it's a completely different shopping experience.
Interesting. The Hemeko, and then through your the Glow and the AOU, you got a lot of requests from the investors, and then you always say no to them. And I want to know why you rejected them, and then if you are getting an investment from any VC, then what kind of partnership you are looking for?
Hemeko and Glow both. The reason why we were looking into investments was because it's so obvious. Like if you're going to get an investment, you need to know where you're going to spend the money, right? And for the first 2 years of our business, we weren't very sure. Just on the surface level, our valuation would not be something that reflected what we believed in, because it's only been like a year and we know our potential. And if we just bring out our revenue for 2022, 2023, it's a lot less than what we're able to do. So we wanted to wait for the perfect timing as well. With Hemeko, our testing ground was, let's launch our offline store, and if it works the way we imagine it to, let's get investments to expand offline. So that might be launching a store in New York or even in like Myeongdong, which requires more down payment money. It worked. So Hemeko's actually looking into getting an investment within the first quarter of next year. Yeah, that's what's happening with Hemeko. And then with Glow's the one that's gotten a lot of requests. We were in this position where we were literally trying to decide, do we want to get it from a strategic investor or a financial investor? What's best for us? So we went around like talking to a lot of people, consultants, and decided that Glow is going to get an investment within the second quarter of next year, because our revenue for 2024 is going to be very advantageous for us.
I had a chance with the meeting with the Brian Lee from the Honest Company. You know,
Yeah.
do you have you ever met him before?
No.
Okay, so I met him at the time he got listed on the Nasdaq,
Okay.
got IPO'd. And then when I had a meeting, I was doing the kids clothing from Korea to the US. So that's when I met the Aram Depyonim at the time.
Okay.
And I was trying to raise funding from him because he got his own the VC fund at the time.
Okay.
And then he well, at the end, he didn't invest in, but he explained to me why he didn't invest into me.
Yeah.
Because the fashion, the stock is really highly dangerous. The honest company, he said, is the advantage was they even if they overproduce, it's okay because the LTV is 10 years, 5 years, pretty longer than the other brands as well. Because he's selling a soap or shampoo, that kind of product, and that goes really long time. There were not many e-commerce startups that going to be IPO'd by the time, but he knew exactly how to get IPO'd by the set of things, calculated things within the company, within the product. So just wanted to share the story with you.
Another advantage that beauty has over fashion is definitely global expansion, because if you think of returns sizing, you don't really return beauty products as often as you do clothing. It's like way more expensive to send a hoodie to America than send over like a small lip tint.
People are thinking about, oh, I want to start my own cosmetic brands. And then if you can give them an advice, and what would that be?
It's really simple. Like, you need to have a reason why you're launching this brand. Any industry, not just beauty. You can't just start a brand because 잘 되는 것 같으니까 I think it's going to do well. Let's start a brand. No, like I feel like a brand is some sort of entity, this creation, and it needs to have a soul in it. If I was someone starting a new brand or a new company, I would really sit myself down and think, what is this brand going to represent? Like, why does this need to exist in the world when there's 30,000 Korean beauty brands registered in the Korean KFDA? That is crazy. And it's increasing every year because people are realizing, beauty makes money. Good exit cases have been beauty. People see brands like Tiru, Beauty of Joseon, Skin Chunsa, all these brands doing more than 3천억, 4천억, like Anua. They're like, 화장품 해야지. Like, if you're gonna make a brand called Future Drop Podcast, like everything needs to have a reason. Like, why does it have the name Future in it? Why is it black? Why is it white? If they're able to answer all these questions when they're challenged by it, then I think everything else from then on is going to be very easy.
Do you think it's possible for the beauty startup can go with the one-hit wonder?
I mean, if you mean possible as in like, can it be profitable? Can it make good revenue? Yes, it's possible. But can it be like a good brand in terms of long-term engagement? Can you make the brand last for 20, like 30 plus years? Then I don't think you can do that with just one SKU.
Because I can't think of any brands go with one product. I just cannot think of it. Is there any?
If you think of Tiru, their major like pusher and their selling product is their cushion, that red cushion foundation.
Right.
CosRx had their big moment with that stretchy serum, the snail mucin serum thing. Dr. Jart had their huge moment with that Cica green cream sort of thing. Each brand has the thing that's going to make people like jump into the brand, but you can't advance your brand without launching other SKUs.
So now you're working 3 jobs at the same time, and then you're also a musician. How are you managing this like for a long time? What's your motivation behind it?
Beauty is something that I'm most passionate in terms of creation, but I don't think what I work on needs to be specifically a certain category. I think that's just the type of person that I am. Is the only way I feel happiness is when I get an idea and I make it happen. Seeing that happen is my only source of adrenaline and dopamine. And entrepreneurs, similar like around my age, they don't have social lives. If you call me on Friday night, I'm at home working. I think that's the way I manage my stamina, because otherwise, if I'm like out there partying or like hanging out with friends every other week, I don't think I'd be able to do this right now.
How are you going to manage your time with the many different jobs?
I think it has more to do with like the person's personality and persona, because I'm just not the type to want to do anything else. If I want to like party and if I want to do something else, then I think it would be a struggle after 2 or 3 years. But I don't want to do those things. And I'm just happiest when I work with my team members, when I talk about these things, like my vision and what I want to do. If you're someone that really likes to hang out with friends and buy new things, be like the hottest person on Instagram and stuff, I don't think you're very well suited for entrepreneurship.
So what's your normal day look like from what time you wake up and then what time you go to do this?
I wake up at 6 every single day.
6 a.m.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I go to sleep around like 1. If this day requires me to go to like ODM manufacturer, you know, I'm here like shooting this podcast with you. If I have a meeting with someone, that's how it goes. I'm like literally all over the place. So I'm at AOU, Hemeco, Glow.
Wow. Until 1 a.m. working.
Yeah, but I come home. So this is another thing. I think another tip that I need to give, if I'm going to give to potential entrepreneurs, is you need to know what works for you. And for me, working like this in this sort of energy is
Yeah.
fine, but I need to have my alone time. Like I can't sit in the office with people, like 40 people around me all the time, because I'm heavily introverted and I need time to think for myself. So I try to come home at least at 7. I work from home from that time, but there are exceptions. So when I first started Hemeko, like the first 1 year, we were at the office till like 3 to 4 a.m. every single day.
Wow.
But it's unrealistic for me to do that for 7+ years. So I'm trying to like figure out how I pace myself, how I should pace myself for this to become manageable in the future.
So you are expecting 2025 many different plans. So what are they for the each brands?
So Hemeko's goal is launching another offline store. AUU's goal is working on like expanding the brand in terms of acknowledgement. So we're going to work with fashion brands and other food brands and make collaboration products to increase our CC pool. And then for Glow, I think our major KPI would be launching in Japan offline, because we've been putting that off for very long. We wanted to do it in a way that was a little different from other K-beauty brands.
And then how do you see yourself for K-beauty's future? What would your role
Michael,
will be? Yeah.
personally, I think at the end of everything, I don't know how long it's going to take. It might take 10 years. It might take 7 years. It might take a lot longer than I anticipate. But at the end of this picture, I want to be seen as a significant creative director in the beauty industry in Korea. Because right now, there is not a single person you can think of in that way.
Correct. Now it comes down to the common questions for this podcast. When was your the happiest moment?
While running this business,
Personally and then for the business?
wow, this is actually like the hardest question. I don't know if you realized, but all the questions you've been getting me, I'm like, oh, 답변 있어, 답변 있어. But happiest, I've had a talk with APR CEO about this. I consulted him and said, I honestly don't know when I feel happy. He was like, it's very hard if you have high standards for like whatever you're doing or like yourself. It's really hard for you to feel happiness. And that dopamine rush is very short-lived. And I feel like that's the same case with me. So if I achieve something, I achieve a metric that I want, or I launch a product that I really wanted to launch. That happiness is very short-lived. I'm always like, oh, 이거 어떻게 더 좋게 하지? Like, how do I expand or make this better? When do you feel happy?
Nowadays, whenever I get back to home,
Oh.
because I just newlywed. I just got married 1 year ago. It has been 1 year. Whenever I go home, like 2 puppies coming out, go crazy for me, and wife is getting ready for me, prepping for the dinner or whatever that is. So every day is really happy because now I've been through all the hardships now, and then business going really well. Business is just business. I think the making money is just making money. Just nothing makes me happy anymore.
Yeah,
It just
I feel the same.
yeah. It's just going on, right?
Yeah.
Just come and go, come and go. But the happiness, personally, just founding the strong family foundation for me.
What I just realized from what you said is I feel like business making money, without it, you can be unhappy, but you can't be happy with just this. If you told me like you can't work on any work or like you can't work on your brands, I'd be very sad, but I'm not happy from just doing this. And for founders to find that extra level of happiness and life's worth, I think family values are very important.
Right. Next question will be what was the rock bottom moment?
Rock bottom moment. I think there's 2 points in my life. So my family was very well off up until I was 19. We were very, very well off right until I graduated high school. Experiencing that financial drop that I've never experienced in my life, that would be one. It was difficult for me to see like my family struggle. That was kind of sad. You know, I've always seen them be so confident and well off and stuff. So I was like, I think that kind of motivated me deep down inside. And then 2, I think this was 6-7 years ago, I had my first huge struggle in social matters, like very big challenge, being betrayed by someone that I trusted a lot. I think for about 1 or 2 years, I made my personality all about this, like getting betrayed by this person. So I told you I'm very introverted, but originally I was very extroverted. And from that point on, I feel like I realized that number 1, I don't like meeting people that much. And number 2, I was obsessed over having a lot of friends and a lot of people that I know around me, like always keeping in touch and 저 볼까요? 저거. But I realized that's like meaningless. In the end, you only really need three friends. You can't have a gazillion friends and be happy at the same time. I think those 2 moments were my rock bottom moments.
If business goes well, you have more friends coming in.
Exactly.
If business goes down, they don't talk to you anymore.
I experienced that personally. I haven't done anything, and I see that because I see so many people that never hit me up. and they see Glow, AOU, and Hemeko doing well, and they slide into my DMs being like, oh, I'm so proud of you. I'm like, okay, when did we ever talk in the last 3 years? Like, we've never kept in touch. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah,
it happens.
it
Never.
happens.
It happens. So I don't really share my achievement from business to social media anymore.
Yeah.
Now we are almost finished this podcast. How was the experience with this podcast?
I think it's really comfortable. I don't
Okay.
really feel like I might actually be, if I see the video clips, I think I might be surprised because I've just focused on talking with you. It's like talking to a friend. It's very comfortable. And I'm curious to see the future episodes on what this is going to become because I still feel like you're still in the testing grounds.
Right.
I want to see what's going to happen in the future for this podcast.
Awesome. To give you the idea that we have at this moment is we want to cover the Korean the business entrepreneurship in Korea to the global as much as possible. We also will be able to cover the leaders in global who are working in Korea as well.
Yeah.
So we have coming up KBW or the conference is coming up. So the global leaders coming into Korea, and then we're going to have an interview with them and then talk about how they view the Korea economy as well. So it's going to be interesting.
Sounds very interesting. If I have any people that I want to recommend that might have fun insight to share with you, then I'll like 소개해.
Awesome. The final question will be if you can, in general, to give them an advice if they are the young entrepreneur who wanna start their own business or whatever that is. If you wanna give them a 3 advice, what would that be?
I think you don't have to worry too much about your credentials. If that's like your main concern, then it really shouldn't be. Your number one determining factor whether or not you're ready for a business is if you have like a very clear mission on what you want to achieve. I feel like in order to become like a good entrepreneur, it can't totally be 100% selfish. Like you have to have something that's beneficial for the world as well, because without that, your business is going to come to a lot of challenges in terms of why are we doing this? Like for Glow, I want to make a semi-luxury brand worldwide so that when you go to department stores overseas, you see a Korean brand on the first floor. You need to have some sort of mission like this. If that's very clear cut in your mind, then you should just dive in. If I just stayed worrying, 불안한데 뭔가 like in 2 years, so much has happened. And you can't start without starting. Make the first move.
Thank you so much for coming today. It was a
Thank you
great
for
episode.
inviting me.
Thank you.